Hello my friends, Spaniel here with Slow Haste. Today we're talking about the OP-1, more specifically 5 mistakes that a lot of beginners make and even advanced users. Just want to go over some cool features and tricks and tips that I have come across while using the OP-1 and how I think they kind of take it to the next level in terms of music production and beat making. Before we get started, I want to take a minute to thank this video's sponsor, DistroKid. I want to talk about one of their features you can use with Spotify called Spotify Canvas. You know when you go to an artist's song and you see a video in the background when you play a song? Well, that's what Canvas enables you to do. So I'm actually going to use an example of a song we're going to go over in this video from my album Dandelion. It's called Desire Path. All you do in the Spotify for Artists app is go to the library tab and select your song that you've uploaded with DistroKid and hit create canvas. Then you click the add button and choose your artwork. So there's a particular video that I want to use from Scotland because the song is actually inspired by part of my trip to Scotland. So there's this cool castle in Tantallon. I think it's called Tantallon Castle. And you hit next once you trim the video. And then this is going to play in the background. And it really is that simple. Definitely a feature I think you should check out if you use DistroKid. And if you haven't signed up yet, you can use the link in the description of this video for 7% off your first year of membership. Thanks, DistroKid. So we'll dive right in. The first mistake is neglecting the onboard microphone. So I'm going to play for you a couple of guitar passages that I've mixed in with some other elements and explain to you my process of how I integrated these into songs. So this is recorded directly to the onboard mic. It's just my friend playing an acoustic guitar. And then I layered it with another take of him playing electric guitar, but with some synth and percussive elements added on top of that. So that guitar riff in the background is actually recorded directly through the onboard mic from a Fender amp and a Strat. And I layered them all together to create this beat, which is the foundation of a song called Desire Path from my album Dandelion that you can listen to if you'd like. I honestly just absolutely love that kind of intentional distortion and drive you get from both the onboard mic and also kind of overloading the compressor. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the power of the onboard mic and the fact that you can implement it in a very high quality but still lo-fi use case. And on to number 2, we're going to use a different track. And this mistake is just being afraid to experiment in general once you have a loop down. So here's our loop. And when I'm talking about experimentation for this point, I'm talking about some of the performative capabilities the OP-1 has, particularly using the blue knob, which is used to scrub through the tape, and the white knob, which is used to alter the pitch of the playback of the tape, along with speed. And then buttons 7 and 8, which are basically performance hotkeys that you can assign effects to. So on 7, I have a filter, and on 8, I have some reverb. So I'm going to mess around with these and just show you how you can take a static loop and kind of spice it up a bit. And you can also totally use these tape stop keys and the reverse key and the glitch key as a turnaround too. I think those 3 are a little more obvious, but people tend to forget about the keys that you can assign parameters to, and using the scrub as like a kind of like a tape warble effect, which is super fun. Okay, so for number 3, this is kind of a practical technical trick, but it is not lifting your tape tracks when you go to overdub. And I have a random loop here that I found. I honestly don't know what this is. Okay. Okay, cool. I think this is a loop I never turned into anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer some auxiliary percussion on this track too, because I have some already. So let me just find a sound I like. Yeah, let's do like a little tom or something. Okay. So now that we have our 2 little percussive sounds that we want to layer over, For these purposes, I'm just going to cut the loop in half before we do this, but basically you're going to lift the track so it's totally gone. And that's kind of scary, but have no fear, you can just drop it back down. And it's there. So what does this do? This effectively saves that track in the memory. So if we mess up when we're recording, so you accidentally mess up like that, and then that's on top of your lovely track, what you can do is just drop the old track back over it, and it will clear it out. So now we can record again. So yeah, kind of a stupid sound for the example, but basically lifting the track and then dropping it down as it is just kind of like a fail-safe for in case you mess up if you're just live recording over a tape track, because the OP-1 does not have an undo feature, but this is kind of a shortcut or a workaround for that. Okay, so my next tip has to do with just experimenting with sound design in general, particularly a few settings that you can alter to make your samples sound totally different. And it's really easy to do this. So I have a
My name's Daniel. My name's Daniel.
Turn off that
My
reverb.
name's Daniel. My name's Daniel.
Yeah, I have a sample of me saying my name's Daniel.
My name's Daniel. My name's Daniel.
So we're just going to do some sound design.
My name.
Put some reverb on it. Adjust the envelope.
My name's Daniel. My name's Daniel.
And already, if you like, it already sounds totally different. It's kind of like this weird arpeggio because basically it plays different notes back at different speeds. So you get this cool kind of like hocketing effect. And it can sound cool at slower speeds too. But you retain that sort of, vocalization a little bit more. But I'm also going to put an LFO on the pitch. And maybe a little tremolo too. I think I accidentally adjusted the sample start time. Yeah, so interesting. This little click from something I was doing when I recorded the sample made it into there. And I accidentally just found that transient by bumping the blue knob when I was changing between menus. But now we can make some crazy cool and you have this like rhythmic percussive patch in the background, which is just wild.
My name's Daniel. 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 My name's Daniel.
And you can put a pitch LFO on it. Maybe a little more mild. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you get it, but you can... Oh, let's add some portamento. Okay, so yeah, basically the things you could do are endless in terms of sound design and taking a stupid sample, like...
My name's Daniel. My name's Daniel. My name's Daniel.
And you can just make it sound really awesome. Or demonic. Whatever you please. And the final tip I have is just ignoring or thinking that the onboard synth engines are not good to use. Because while a lot of people think of this as a sampler, and it's really easy to record your own samples and load samples into it, the onboard synth engines actually have a lot to offer in terms of how you can use these sort of parameters that I was discussing earlier. So I'm just going to jump through some of my presets to see how they sound. I haven't used this thing in a little bit, so I honestly can't really remember where things are in terms of my presets. So like this is a pretty cool bass synth, I think. okay, so that's one cool sound. Okay, I think that's pretty awesome. Let's even go further, and so we have that on unison. What happens if we go to a polysynth? So clearly I'm getting distracted with this patch in particular, but as you can see, it's super fun and easy to get these like crazy experimental sounds out of it by just making a few tweaks. Here's one of my favorite. This is a synth patch I used for my song Renaissance from Alpine Lights. As you can see, I like a lot of kind of like gentler pads, but it can also do some gnarly digital bass too. So as you can see, I kind of got distracted toward the end here doing a lot of messing around with sound design and whatnot. But clearly, if nothing else, I think that's just an indicator to how powerful of a tool the OP-1 can be in terms of sound design, experimental process, and just like coming up with super fun stuff out of basically nothing, like My Name's Daniel or a Car+Strong string synthesis algorithm. You just have such immediate control and access to all of these wild parameters that can drastically vary what you're doing. And that's part of what makes it so much fun once you get to learn some of the different interfaces, which is really easy to do compared to some of the Electron devices, for example. Goodbye to the sun. Anyways, I love the OP-1. I know I made a video about why I don't use it anymore. And yes, as you can see, it's plugged in, so I'm still having my battery issue. But I was having an Instagram conversation yesterday with Two Eyed Boy. Shout out and thank you for the inspiration. About some of my older music and how I did pretty much everything with the OP-1. It was really limiting, but like not at all at the same time. And I was just thinking about it a lot yesterday afternoon, and it made me want to make a video about it. And I'm probably not going to post this till later in April. I'm moving, so I'm pre-recording a bunch of videos before I pack my studio up. But I'm definitely going to have the OP-1 around while the rest of my studio is packed up. So hopefully I'll have some more content for it in the future. And I would honestly love to teach somebody how to use the OP-1. So if you're looking for lessons or some general pointers, then please consider checking out my Patreon and signing up for some lessons. We could even do just like a one-off session or two if you're interested. Feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram @slowhaste. It's just such a fun and powerful tool, and it is the piece of electronic music hardware that really opened up the realm of just like DAW stuff in general to me once I kind of hit a wall and stopped having fun trying to make music in a DAW. So it's definitely an instrument that will always be near and dear to my heart, and I'd love to chat about it more. And again, huge shout out and thank you to DistroKid for sponsoring my videos for the month of March. It's a really great service that I actually use, and I wouldn't recommend something if I didn't fully believe in it, so take that for what it's worth, and check out the link in my description if you want to get 7% off of your first year of membership, and just go put out some music, because no one's going to hear it if you don't. And that's another thing I love about the OP-1. The album feature makes it super easy to get a WAV file, or actually an AIFF file, that you can export and sync with video. It's how I started posting music on Instagram, which eventually led me into making YouTube videos. So just another thing I have to thank the OP-1 for. Anyways, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.